Hello and welcome to PA Sports Question and Answers. Uh, this time I have a good friend for 20 years and he's a policeman. He's a police legend in my eyes, and he's a very good friend, and it's the one and only Shane Mallon. Welcome, Shane.
Thank you, Paul. I don't know about the Kalisha legend, but thanks very much for that. We've been friends a long time, Paul. Go back a long way, and it's hard to believe 20 years. And I wouldn't say we've fell out, but over football we've had a few good debates and stuff and a bit of crack. But sure, isn't that what it's all about?
Yeah, pool and football.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a big part for both of us probably over the years. We've had a lot of chats about football and obviously the big thing, pool as well, the Kappa tournament and stuff like that. So yeah, good times.
How do you get on with this coronavirus?
It's been, well, I suppose, thank God, we're starting to come out of it now and things are starting to move again back to work and stuff like that. But it's been bad. A lot of people have been affected by it, but I suppose being lucky ourselves, places like Gabby, more rural places, it's kind of passed us by fairly well, thank God. So yeah, it's been tough, but hopefully people are able to get out and about a bit more now and things start to feel a bit more normal. But for ourselves here, Fiona and myself, we had a new arrival during lockdown. We had our second child, a wee baby boy. So we've had plenty to keep us busy. It's not as if I've missed working. It's been great to be at home, to be able to help out and be here a lot more than you would have been if I had been working. So from our own point of view, it's been nice to spend a lot of time at home,
Yeah, you have now been in Calisa shut up this year. How?
Yeah, well, I suppose football is one of the things we're talking about. We've got up and going again. We're probably back now, probably, well, guts of a month, I would say. Given a bit of a helping hand to Paul Feeney, who is doing a great job. Good result last Sunday. So there'd be hopes this year that, well, the first thing I suppose everybody's thinking is hopefully that there isn't a major spike in the whole thing. I suppose the news has come out during the week about Eilish and Ahalu having to postpone things. So I suppose the main hope is that things don't get out of control and we actually get the football season finished. Would be one of the main things we'd be hoping for, but would be hopeful that if Kalisha could keep fit and things go well, that maybe getting up could be a possibility.
The last couple of years, you have the youth come into that team, and now you start trying to, not saying rebuild, but it's more of a, like the older players is kind of away from us now. There's a more a younger base now.
No, that's definitely right. Well, there's still a few now, and probably you still need some of those older guys floating about. Even on Sunday past, John McMullen was playing midfield. John's a wee bit older than I am, so he's flying the flag yet for older boys. John was brilliant. Gary Riley came on, Kieran Riley's still there, Connor Small. So it's good to have boys that got still involved in the setup. But definitely, I think the time has come for these younger lads now in around 19, 20, 21 to really push the thing on, And a big thing this year or over the winter, and even during lockdown as well, the boys were keeping in touch in their WhatsApp groups and stuff. But seems to be a good change in mindset from a lot of boys, which has maybe been a problem for collegiate teams over the years and maybe has held us back. But there seems to be a determination that, the penny has dropped and it's now or never sort of stuff, time to get up and need to be competing at a higher level, so you can jump up into intermediate and find your feet there and hopefully push on. But that's the aim. Whether it works out or not is a different story. Yourself, Paul, you've been involved in teams that the best laid plans don't just work out sometimes. So you kind of just have to sort of see how it pans out, but we'll be hopeful.
Can you take a point of view of a player now being a manager to try to just move the thing forward a different way?
Well, I suppose playing for a long time, you sort of working with different managers, there's things you pick up, and I always found that it was a bit easier to play for a manager who was a good man manager, who was good with the players. Everyone was very clear and transparent. So if there was one thing that I could maybe bring to it this year, that there would be that sort of an aspect, that it's all about the players. Players need to be happy in the environment they're in, and I think I had an interesting chat with Kieran McCrory, Galway senior footballer and great player for a long time, last year, and met him and I was picking his brain about John Mallon, Galway manager, just type of thing, and Galway's run last year, county final obviously, and making it to an Ulster final. And just was asking Kieran, about different things, about in the setup. And like he was telling me that Galway would have maybe upwards of 40 men at training. And he says out of the whole squad, he would find it difficult to name one or two players who had any grievance with the manager at all. And I thought that was brilliant, that to have that amount of players on board and everybody happy, even the players who maybe aren't getting as much game time as they think they should be, or stuff like that, And I think that's important. You have to take everybody with you. It's we are lucky this year. We've had great numbers. It's like even high 30s, 38, 39 players. And I suppose the main thing is keep everybody happy, keep everybody interested, and keep everybody involved. So
it's more enjoyable this year because well, you just can't go down any further. But
that's a bit of a low blow there, PA.
it's not low blow. I'm only saying, but
yeah,
for Division 2 and Division 1, you're not going to be relegated. I know
yeah,
Division 3, that's not the case, but
yeah. Oh, I know 100% what you're saying. In a lot of ways, it's for teams where relegation has been taken out of it. It's a free shot, and it might, in a way, it might actually help maybe the style of football this year, where maybe teams might say, well, look, we'll just go for it. Whatever happens here, there's no problem. There's no relegation through the league. And you can get fine-tuned in a couple of league games and give the championship a rattle. So it's going to be interesting now. It definitely is. Speaking as somebody close to over the road from Galway, a year like this year could be a great year for a team like Galway to just have a free shot at something, because I say that now this could happen this year, but I do feel Galway are well placed in the next 3, 4, 5 years to really push on and make a serious chance to win an O'Neill Cup. And I'm not just saying that to you now, PA, because I'm talking to you, but
yeah,
I've had this conversation with different football men, and I think if you go through probably some of the best young footballers in the county, at that age group, maybe early 20s boys who are really starting to hit that mid-20s in their prime, if you start listing out names, a lot of those lads play for Galway, so it's probably exciting times for yourselves as well.
well, it's I think every team has like 3 to 5 years to just build on stuff. Like Calisel over years had that 3 to 5 years spell, and you were involved that sales per them.
Yeah, probably Kalishal from maybe mid 2000s. Kalishal probably were always competing. Like I would say, the first I played probably for almost 20 years senior football, and like it doesn't belong flying past at the same time either. But like the bulk of that, maybe the first 13 to 14 years was all intermediate, and then we had a year when the leagues were split, which are going back to now to four divisions, 1A, 1B. We were in 1B for a couple of years and eventually made it then, 2006. We played in Division 1. I'm not sure, I was thinking earlier, Diablo may have been in Division 1 at that time as well. I can't remember for sure, but we were in it for 1 year.
You
Who?
said 2006. We
I think it
were
was.
1B and we won 1B.
Yeah, very good. You have some memory.
Yeah.
But I remember that year we picked up a few points here and there. We had uh, struggles with injuries that year. We finished up. We played Loch McCrory in Gabley in a playoff game actually to try and stay up, and unfortunately Loch McCrory beat us by I think maybe a couple of points. So we were back down to intermediate, and we're always strong. And then there probably was a big turnover in players, and kind of the last few years of playing and even up until now, we've probably been in and out of junior, which for a club of Kalishal size and our facilities and stuff and the ambition and the players that are there, I think it's important that we definitely try and sort of creep back up at least one division anyway. So that's definitely the aim over the next year or two.
Yeah. Are you taking the year by year basis, or are you plan for like for a couple of years?
I suppose when you're in Division 3, that's all you sort of can worry about at the minute. But sort of if you're thinking longer term, because a lot of young boys playing for this Kalisha senior team at the minute have been used to a lot of success. They've won probably Grade 1 titles all the way up through under 14, 16. We're beaten in a county minor final in Gabley as well. Gabley hasn't been that lucky for Kalisha teams over the years playing in, but I think the target, I would maybe think myself, and I haven't really discussed this with Paul Feeney or anything like that, but it's my own thinking that if Kalisha were able to win an intermediate title in 3 or 4 years' time, I think that's something you really have to. It's all right saying, "Oh, we want to be in senior football," but you can't just jump from one. You have to tick your way up, and
Yeah.
you just have to take it as it comes. But I think intermediate championship or to be competing in a league, intermediate league or championship in 3, 4 years' time, I think that's something that we really have to be pushing for.
Who who could you see on the Tyrone County team from police?
Um, I could see there's definitely about half a dozen lads if they keep progressing the way that they are. Pascal Donaghy is a great player, plays probably in around the half forward line. We had 5 players who were involved in the Tyrone Under 17 team who won All Ireland 2 or 3 years ago. Every one of those lads, could easily step up. I'm trying to think. I think they all played on Sunday, apart from Tomas Hoy, who was injured. So all those lads will be well capable. I think an important thing of maybe players who have aspirations of playing county football, obviously the higher up the leagues you are, that becomes a little more easier. If you're performing well at intermediate level, there's a better chance of maybe a manager or people who are looking at things having a look at that, as opposed to maybe players who are going well in junior, because historically over the years, not many players who play in junior football are probably, maybe like Cathal McShane would be a big exception maybe in the last couple of years. But I think definitely the higher up the grades you're playing and against that better calibre of player, I think it always just helps to improve people.
Yeah, it just Kalisa always had 2 or 3 nearly players just hadn't just no luck or injury prone or something like that. Just
Yeah. There's been plenty. Gee, like there's plenty of. I was very lucky to play with some great players for Kilishal, and when you looked at them and how they could, the effect that they could have in games, you'd have thought to yourself, these could play county football, no problem. But just for one reason or another, we haven't had a lot of representation at senior level. Like a lot of boys have played minor and a bit under 21 and stuff, and then now you're into under 17 squads and stuff. But probably since Hub, Riley was on a Mechanic Cup squad and played a few games there and done well. Was unlucky to miss out on making the National League squad. So since that, we're sort of waiting. I think yourselves, Galby, now you have 2 or 3 men back involved. I think when you have somebody from your own club involved, you're able to get behind it more. Now, not that you're not going to support your own county, but when you've somebody involved, it's really special going to games to watch them playing. And I think that's the one thing. Whenever Hub was playing, the sense of pride when you seen him, standing around midfield and controlling games and dishing out big hits and doing this and doing that. When you come away from a game, like the one that springs to mind is the 2003 All Ireland final for a club like Kilishal, to have somebody on the team, but to have the man of the match in an All
yeah,
Ireland final in Tyrone, first All Ireland win, was just special for Hub, special for his family, and special for everybody involved with Kilishal. Like it was just on cloud 9 for a long, long time after it. So hopefully a few boys can get back involved and really start to get behind the thing again.
yeah. Uh, no, that was a very special time for you because I thought with Hub, Hub's family and all, the charity and all what happened, it just was a special time for the whole community to get back to recognise he was the best player.
Yeah. No, he has came through a lot. He's a very modest person. Hub, he just goes about his business, and even as regards Kilishal at the minute, he's back involved. He's very humble. He's the boys' youth officer. He's back out training, hoping to play a bit of reserve football. I better put it out there. He came on for the last 10 minutes on Sunday and scored 1-1. So he might feel he was played out of position he came on a full forward. So he maybe feels he should have been further up the pitch for Tyrone, but for everything that they had been through at that time, and you hear, I think it was BBC had done a something about the Tyrone team, how they came through all the adversity of what happened Paul McGuire, and then even on head into senior
Yeah,
about what happened Cormac McNall. And then when you hear other players, the Tyrone players, speak about Hub and how big of an influence he was and helping everybody to get over that, that speaks volumes about
yeah.
the person that he is. He's one of a kind.
When you played, who was your toughest opponent?
Oh, um, God, everyone, Paul, he played against was tough. But it was, let's see, I'm trying to think now. Well, I'll start off with against Galway, and even though towards the end of the career we didn't play Galway an awful lot, but I seem to remember the last couple of times we had played Galway, I had him playing around the half-forward line and always seemed to be paired up against Damien McCrory,
Yeah,
who was a very tricky, as a forward. I almost felt like I was trying to mark him because he spent his whole time charging forward. He was lightning fast, and I used to think to myself, if I can come off here, keeping this man to scoring 2 or 3 points, I'll have done all right. Damien was a very tricky customer. I think other guys now. Up the country, Ahayarn, those places when you want to play, if you're an opposing forward, you're always maybe set aside for a bit of rough treatment. But sure, that's football. You take it and you go on and you get through it, you know. But tough opponents now, there'll be too many to mention.
Yeah. Was any games what they thought you, you would say you wanted to rerun again?
I hope you're not getting round to asking me a question that I think you're going to ask for. Yeah, there's one that's for anybody from Kilishal, the championship game a couple of years ago against Gably, you know, and the fact that it was such a unique thing for a team not to score, but for it to be against, even though I would always have said over the years that Kilishal Gably would have had what you would call a friendly rivalry, obviously when you were playing, you wanted to win so much, but after the games are over, like I was listening into your Q&A with Cathal McAlean, and you were telling him about how much you loved Donald Moore. Everybody, that'd be Gably's big derby game for Kilishal. Ours would probably be Ahalou, because that's just who it's been mostly over the years. That's when tight games are there, it seems to be them in a semi-final of a championship or a final of a championship. But just that day, it just didn't. There was injuries, different things, bad luck, and just maybe bits of bad decision making as well, probably by the players. It just was one of them days, and unfortunately, it will always be in the history books of maybe one of the only times where a team hasn't scored in a championship game. But all we can hope for is that if maybe in a few years' time that maybe we'll meet again in a championship, that where it'd be hard to see maybe Gably not scoring, but if we could beat Gably in a championship, that would definitely make up for it a bit, anyway.
Well, it was all banter. It was no dead serious.
Well,
I,
that's the one thing I would say, that Gably were probably as respectful about it. Obviously when you're playing, you don't expect anybody to have sympathy for you. If you can beat somebody by 20, 30, whatever it is, you can't say to somebody to stop playing. But after the game, I could never say that it's ever been sort of rubbed in my face or brought up, and I think a lot of Kilisa people would say the same. It happened, and it's history. It'll be there. But we're looking forward to the next time we play PA. Revenge will hopefully be sweet.
well, I hope so. We'll we'll take a pint and we'll forget all about it again.
Yeah, well, I think that's the main thing.
That's the way Gavin Police always was. There
Yeah,
was nothing madness or it was all about crack at the end of it.
yeah. No, that's what I go back to what I said there. I would have seen it as a good, clean, friendly rivalry. You wanted to win for sure. There's no doubt about that. But just some other derby games, there's more bite in them. There's more feisty. But maybe that might change over the years, because I know a lot of the young players who are playing at the minute, probably Gabby, I was thinking maybe Connor Quinn and Liam Rafferty and guys like that, Miller and these Kalisha lads, McCusker, they would have had a fair good few battles at youth level. So maybe that might carry through till maybe hopefully someday making it senior football again. So time will tell.
Right, we'll, we'll finish that football wise and we'll go
Mm-hmm.
into the main section, pool.
Uh-huh.
Uh, have you played in the Tor Valley and Duane League?
Yeah, played them both. Probably more the Dungannon League, Paul. I suppose where we are here, probably Kalisha and Gably, you could qualify for playing in both leagues.
Yeah,
Probably most of it will be played in the Dungannon League. We used to play out of Podges, out of the Cranon.
yeah.
Uh, and then we moved up. We played out of Gribbons then for a while as well. But probably maybe the last bit of my pool career, probably finished up playing for McAleers
Yeah.
in Dungannon. So that was, we played for McAleers probably good maybe 7 or 8 years, maybe 10 years. So it was a good while there now. So that would have been all Dungannon League there.
Yeah. Can I ask Cal McGreen the same question? Uh, I know Cal is not repeating the Carvalho, but can you see a difference as a standard?
That's a good question, Paul. Uh, to me, in my own opinion, now this could change. I'm
Yeah,
sure there's other
yeah,
players who have played in both leagues, but just to me, I felt Dungannon was just a slight bit stronger.
yeah,
But now there wouldn't be much in it if you were to go and pick the best 5 or 6 players from both leagues to play in a match. You would have two very very good teams picked out, and it was often spoke about different times that maybe would happen. Different times, to
yeah,
kind of have a battle off the two leagues, and maybe it's still something that could happen in maybe time to come. But no, like there have been players who played in the Clare Valley who probably didn't play a lot of Dungannon Pool League and thinking boys more up in direction just because of distance probably. But Brendan McDonough, Shamie Doyle, I kind of think more than probably going to leave people out here, but boys they got who probably
yeah,
played 99% of their pool in the Clare Valley. And then there was a lot of boys who didn't cross over from um, Dungannon to the Clare Valley. So no, if you were to pick two teams to go at it, you would have two good teams. But I think just across the board, uh, you just felt like most nights when you played in the Dungannon League, you could be up against it most nights. Where sometimes in Clare Valley, you could think maybe rightly or wrongly that you would have a good chance of maybe getting a good win, 4-0 or 4-1 or 5-0, something like that.
And how hard is it now with work and all till months everything now? Like your football. I don't know if you're paying pool now or not, but
No, unfortunately, as things get a bit busier, and I suppose with having kids now, when thing moves on, certain things have to be sacrificed, and probably the one thing the pool ended up fell by the wayside. I haven't played any league pool in maybe 4 or 5 years. I've been sort of in and out of Kappa this last couple of years. We actually were, I think, one of the only games played at the start of this year
yeah,
before the whole thing shut down. And then I think I was away last year. I didn't get to play, but um, probably retired from pool leagues for the time being, Paul. But I think just being from the local area, I think just how special the Kappa Cup is. I think it's always important to try and make sure to get over and support the tournament because I was listening to Cahill's interview, and he said it's the one, and to me as well it's the cream of the crop, because people are trying to get good teams gathered up and getting boys in and practicing and checking out the draw, who they're playing, who they're playing next to, whatever stuff like that. Like it's a bit for anybody who's interested in pool, and I think especially being from the local area, it's definitely one you always want to be competing for.
yeah. Have you any good memories of the Kappa Cup?
Oh, plenty, plenty, plenty. Some maybe not fit for
Yeah,
speaking on this, but no, I just think I'm trying to think. I think the first time I played in Kappa was maybe 17 or 18 years of age,
yeah,
and you just knew there was no matter if it was a first round or a quarter final, semi final, or final, there was always a big crowd in Boyles and Malkeys to watch it. So it took a while to get used to that. Usually when you play in the pool league, it's just the two teams who are playing and maybe a couple others. But to get used to that atmosphere of playing over there, it's very, very special. And the closer you get to the final and the final itself, it takes on a whole new life again, And I think it's been brilliant the last couple of years that, they've brought in the camera over the table and playing on the screens. Like for anybody who is interested in playing pool to play in that final on Easter Monday night is just, it's a brilliant feeling now.
How many Kappa Cups did you win?
I think two, Paul. Although we played in, I think, 4 finals maybe in 5 years. I think we played in 5 finals all together, and just with the standard, we probably were lucky in a way to win 2, but maybe unlucky we could have won 3 or 4.
Yeah.
There's one especially, the first one of that run of years we played in the final, we played Tiffy's.
Yeah.
And we just got bang out of luck on the night. We played as well as we ever did, and just I remember I think it was somebody potted the black, and there was 1-1 in the final frame at a crucial, maybe in the 3rd or 4th match. And that had a big bearing on the game, so that was a sore one to lose that one. But it maybe made up for it the next year when you eventually win one. You think of how bad you felt when you lost, but to win it for the first time was such a good feeling,
Yeah. If you pick one of your players out, who is the best player you ever had on the pool team?
It's not a hard decision. Paul, you have been a lucky mascot for us over the years, and funny, any games we seem to lose, you weren't there watching. So I was always delighted when we went into Boyles to play, and PA was at the bar, because you were the man for us. But you know yourself, Paul. You seen all them games. Paddy Dorn was just, something special. When he was playing and practicing, he could do things on a pool table that just, Paddy could be playing a game of pool and look as if he was 100 to 1 against winning that frame, and within 3 shots, he has the balls. It's set up perfect for him. I think there's not too many players in the local game who have played European Championships. Paddy has been on Sky TV a couple of times. He just, I think it helps your own game, and everybody on our team would say the same. For us to be able to practice with Paddy and to see him playing, you just were able to learn so much from him. But he would take your breath away, some of the shots that he would play, just an absolutely amazing player, and I'm sure a lot of boys who have played with him and against him over the years would say the same thing.
Yeah. I know you said Kappa Cup is the main pool now. Have Kalisa be the team now? I know you played the Crown, the Gribbons, but Kalisa will be the main now for you.
For Kappa, for our team.
Kappa.
Oh, it's still, even though we're playing under a different name, it's still like Kieran Riley, Weenal Hamill, Gavi Donaghy. It's all, I think the years we won Kappa, Paul, what made it so special, what definitely the first couple of years was, it'd be wrong of me not to mention boys like Petey John Kelly, Malachi Kane, Dominic Kane. Those boys were very important in sort of for Kieran and myself, especially, learning pool. Dominic and Petey John and Malachi are playing pool a long time, probably started back over in Crosscalvina Hall and playing in different places and Boyles, and I think that's what the first Kappa we won, the most satisfaction that I could take from it was that it had been a while since Petey John and Malachy had won it, and to
Yeah,
see how happy it made them, it really brought it home to us, how important it was to everything that the tournament stands for. And I think that's why, like I heard you speaking to Cahill about next year being anniversary and stuff. So I think it's important for us to get as good a team get up as we can. But even though players have dropped them out, it's basically always been local lads that we have had on our team. We very rarely, like I know the rules state you can have two county players, but a lot of the time when we play, we don't have any county players. And I think, not to sort of make it kind of big up what we done, but the fact we were able to win it without bringing players in, as it were. Now that's nothing against the other teams, Cahill and them, Tony Sopranos, they are the Sopranos, they're the same. They're all just local lads who are there doing their best. So obviously next year they'll be one of the teams to beat if you want to get back to the top of the pile. So we'll see how it goes.
yeah, it's getting very strong. With the Lockshore coming back in, Teresa, you have Bogues, uh, Tony Spanos shoes. Like it's Sean, it's getting very strong back again.
Yeah. Oh, it is. There's no doubt about that. We actually, the Lockshore lads, we played them back in March, and they beat us 4-1 or 4-2.
Yeah,
And with Benny Quinn, Mark, and then there's a few younger lads. Stewartstown lads are playing. Conrad McCann,
yeah,
a very very good player. So any night you play in Kappa, you need wee things to go your way to be able to come out on the right side of the result. And one of the things I often think about Kappa, the fact that it's a 6-man team, even though it's only one more player, it changes the whole dynamic of yourself, Paul, probably from playing in leagues and stuff. A 5-man team, you get the 3-2, that's it. You get the 3-1, that's it. You could be sitting after 5 games, 3-2 up, and that sixth match is going ahead, and
yeah,
you're still not sure. And like the amount of times it comes down to that last black ball in the third frame of the sixth game,
yeah,
it's the difference between getting over the line in a 6-man team and that 5-man. It's one of the many things that makes the Kappa Cup just a very very special tournament.
yeah. Uh, what does the Kelpa Cup mean to you personally? I know you're already.
Yeah, well, like my home house is only really a few mile over the road from Kappa, so everybody knows the story of what happened and what the tournament stands for. So in those terms, it's very important. But as I heard Cahill talking about as well, and from the point of view of wanting to win things and career, it'd be nice to say you won 3 or 4 or 5 Kappa Cups because you are playing. You know, we always used to sort of when we were chatting playing the leagues that the leagues were like your normal league, and then you had your cups where Kappa Cup was like the Champions League. It
Yeah,
was where all the best teams came together to fight it out, and like to be able to say that you won it, well, I suppose we're lucky in a way we have won it twice. Would love to win it again, but the fact we have won it twice, it's enough. But sometimes you get greedy, you always want more. So hopefully, sometime maybe we'll get another one. But it's very important, and I think you know, it's a great pastime. Pool, a lot of people, would give pool sort of a vibe all and different things. Maybe playing odd frame here and there in a pub, but it's a great pastime. Bit of skill involved in it, bit of luck as well. It's a bit of crack. It gets people out and about. And I think with pubs being closed this past while, yes, probably realise how much you miss certain things. A couple of frames of pool is one of them things that you could put on it, because you could pass practicing, messing about, you could play all your different games, get you seem to have a good habit of winning plenty of money. PA after big matches in Kappa, you go home, your pockets full of coins. So it's a great pastime, you know. And as I echo what Cahill was saying, um, you know, it actually there's probably a lot more people playing pool in the local area than maybe sometimes you see in paper. It doesn't get any exposure at all, but having played it for a long number of years, I think it's a great pastime. It really is.
Yeah. I wrap up. Shane, thank you very much to do this. I know me and your friends long time, but I thought when I started this, I had to get you on.
Thank you very much for the invite, Paul. It's great to be on. I think it's an amazing thing what you're doing. I've enjoyed all the interviews so far, and just keep it going. It's been class, and you're doing a great job flying the flag for Galway as always. No better man.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm giving respect to Kalisa too. Kalisa always, Galby and Kalisa was always great friends at the end of the day. So
Yeah. That's for sure, Paul. No, great to chat to you. Hey, really, thanks a million for the invite.